have this as a document. So we are recording and it's streaming live. So first and foremost, it's important that people know the backstory, or they know they have some pre-knowledge before we get into what the solution is. And so I did an earlier live 7 something this morning, and it was talking about why I felt like the block by block strategy is critical. And I had people voice positive energy toward that, and I had people not so positive energy toward that. This is what I would say to the people who um, may not feel like the solution is, as I said, HSN, habits, schedule, and network. Anyone who may not agree with that, it's important that at least you make that assumption based on, as much information as you can. You won't have it all. So first and foremost, what I want everyone to know, when I talk about how quickly we can stop this violence and turn neighborhoods around, it's number one because we have capacity. We have 12 to 20 blocks organized into chunks. We call them villages. Without that, I wouldn't dare be on here talking about how $1 can turn things around. I wouldn't dare say that because it's like, where would you begin? So if you don't know me, you don't know our track record and history of doing the work, I can see why you would think that we're crazy talking about $1 and the impact $1 can make. And so what I wanted to do in this video is to kind of walk you through some documents that'll help hopefully give you some insight on why we're that close to having safer streets, why we're that close to turning neighborhoods around. Looks like I lost the Facebook Live here, and that is really, really unfortunate because I was banking on that being on. So if it's not, let me just get through. I'm recording it anyway, so I'll post it later. So I'm gonna stick with it. So let's get to sharing the screen. First thing I want you to look at is the violence. I want you to see what it is that we have to type up every. Um, we do it every Monday. We type up who been shot, killed, stabbed, and raped. This here allows us to, number one, continuously search Black America to find where the hot spots are, who's done what, and what the reactions are for our community. So that gives us a chance to do when you see us put these numbers in your on our page. So anyway, I want to go there. So I want you guys to see this. So you'll see these numbers here, the people who have been shot, killed, stabbed, and raped. As you can see that right there, real unfortunate, real sad. Now, let's expand the window here so you guys can see something else. So, this here is what we want people to do. This is what we want people to do. This is what I'm asking you to do. We need, in every city, we need to establish uh, agreement. We need to establish agreement. And when you say agreement, agreement to what? Let's just, can we get on the same page that whatever we agree to, agreement is a good thing. It can cause us to work together. So we need agreement. Now I'm gonna tell you what I'm hoping we can agree to. So, uh, how to establish 1,000 people for change in your U.S. city, Detroit, Chicago, St. Louis. How do we establish 1,000 people or households for change? Now, the challenge for us as a people is we're like this. We're all over the place. Some people say it's education. Some people say it's safety. Some people say it's seniors. Some people say it's jobs. Some people say it's ex offenders. You got all of this, and all of it is right. It's all of that because it's our social fabric, our economic fabric, our spiritual fabric that is interwoven together. So when one thing is out of place or deficient, it forces the other one to have to overcompensate. So it's all of that. What I want to be clear with you guys is who and what does it look like for it all to come together in harmony, for it all to come together so that we can see real impact in our streets. 70 people shot in Chicago, unacceptable. 70 people who probably the first time being shot, so that trauma is in them being, shot. So this is what I say needs to happen. We have to have at least um, enough people who's gonna agree to give a damn and do something different. All right, so that's why we're saying, how do we establish 1,000 people for change? Now, whatever we agree to, we need to make sure that we're pooling our own financial resources together. The reason this matters and the reason this is so important is because if we're coming together to seek outside money, that means we're missing inside. And for those who say we don't have it, let's, before you say we don't have it, let's find out what can we do. Can we do 4 quarters? Can we pull together a dollar? I think most people will be sensible and say yes, we can do that. But what would that do? And this is why I want to show you what that $1 can do. And for those people who don't know, Chicago is important to the whole world. Chicago is important to the whole world. So let's look through this. Let's go through this here. I'm gonna blow this up a little bit so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. And I went through this before, but I want to go through it a little bit, in more in depth, so that you guys can really, really see what we're building here, what's been built. It's not even what we're building no more. This is what's already been built. So this here is the Global Relationship Manager. Global Relationship Manager. Whatever we talk about with this shooting and killing out here on the streets, is going to boil down to how we interact with each other, the relationships. And so this here is showing us capacity wise what we can do, what is possible. So I want to make sure when I talk about the $1, you guys will know this is what's possible. So let's look at the top here, the top right here, the 101 floors to 108 floors. So when I talk about stopping the violence and people coming together, you have arguments where people say it's all about safety. So they're right here. They're saying it's all about safety. Okay, well, we go put you on the floor with other people who think safety is what needs to happen to make our neighborhood safer. Then you have people who say, no, it's all about education. Okay, well, that's the 103rd floor. So we go get you over there with all those people on the 103rd floor who say it's all about education. Y'all still in the same building, but you just on a different floor. Then you got people say it's all about economics. Okay, that's 105th floor. So we go get all of you guys who believe it's all about economics to that floor. Some people say it's about these youth. They don't have nothing to do. Okay, that's the 107th floor. So we go ask all of you guys to go to the 107th floor so that y'all can work on what we're gonna do with them young people. Okay. Some people say it's to break down the family. Okay, good. All the family people who think that's the issue, that's the 106th floor. What I just gave to you, it goes back to relationship management, right? So if we get people who are saying the same thing together, they stand a better chance of coming to agreement because they at least are not debating that is education over safety or that is education over economics. They're on the same floor. So that's all the way at the top, you guys. Now, if we scroll down all the way to the bottom, right? The root, Chicago. Now, when you look at these murder totals every weekend, Chicago. So in the green over here are South Side neighborhoods: Ashburn, West Englewood, Marquette Park. You see floors 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all South Side. You see floors 7 through 12. That's all West Side: South Austin, North Austin, Garfield Park, North Lawndale. When we talk about the shooting and killing, this is where it's happening at, right here on these floors, but in these cities. The floors in a metaphoric way, as a metaphor, but this is where it's going down at North London. I just posted 14-year-old, 17-year-old shot on 15th and Sawyer. That's there on the 8th floor. Over here, Terratown, South Shore, 19th floor, Bronzeville, 20th floor, Roseland, 16th floor. This here, floors 1 through 20, is where majority of Chicago's violence is taking place. Okay, so now, if we know this is where majority of the violence is taking place, what is the plan? What is the plan? And what I want to reassure you guys at the top here, this is why it's called global relationship management. So what I want you guys to know, North Lawndale not about to fix the violence on their own. Roseland not about to fix the violence on its own. Chicago not about to fix the violence on its own. If y'all could have, you would have. So it's what we do, not what they do. It's what we do, and we need each other. But the challenge has always been, how do we get people to agree? And what I'm saying to all of us is, it starts with The agreement starts with something that's low risk. So if you're wrong, you're not banking on your house. You're not betting on your house. If you're wrong, you're not hurting anything of substance. And this is why we have it set so low at $1 a month, 48 quarters a month, because it's such a low risk that even if you're 100% wrong, your loss is $1. Now, that's not agreeing on all the other things, but we don't have nothing that we agree on from coast to coast. Nothing. And what this is, this represents, the $1 represents something that is easy for you to take a risk on just in case. Now, keep in mind, any and every person we talk to have a perspective on this shooting and killing. So again, those floors, when they open their mouth, when we open our mouth and talk about the solution is the $1 a month, and they open their mouth saying no, it ain't. It's about safety. We go say, okay, let's walk and chew gum at the same time. Give us the dollar, then you go up to the 101st floor with all the other safety-minded people, and when y'all go up there, because we collected $1 million, we're gonna give you guys a budget to work on safety now. It's your own money, but because of our global relationship management tool, we was able to extract it from all these mindset people and then put it right back to those mindset people to work on what they say is important. You see how this works? So if we collect the dollar from someone and they say it's all about education, good. We go get you up on the 103rd floor with all the other people. But because we got all of you guys to release $1, now we had a budget to give you so y'all can work on that. And the best part about it, when you got people in their right lanes, now traffic can flow. It's when people out of the lane that traffic either, is going too fast. You got the major crash up the street, or it's going too slow. You got bottlenecks. But here's what the $1 represents, so you guys to know. Number one, when we talk about 1,000 households, do you know 1,000 households? Probably not. All right, probably don't even know half of that, and that's okay, because why would you know? This is what we do. We have more than 1,000 relationships in households. We have it. The problem is, because those 1,000 households and relationships are, in this case, trying to survive, meaning they're all over the place, just trying to make it day to day, we can't get them to see value in the $1, in the pooling of our resources together, because everyone has a direction they're going in, and there's nothing that synchronizes us together yet. So you need access to those 1,000 people. Once you have access, then you have to engage them. When you engage them, again, this tower makes sense because you can engage them on a health, education, safety, youth, senior citizen perspective. So your engagement game will be pretty good because you got more than one dimension to offer. Second, does your message resonate with them? So when I talk about the 14, 17-year-old getting shot on Sawyer last night, if we over there in North Londale going door to door, our message of we need to come together to stop this killing will probably resonate because they just had two people shot yesterday. So that's number two. Your message, it has to resonate. Number three, history or track record. History or track record. This is just so that they can consider releasing the $1 to you. You got to have a history and track record, because if nothing else, black people don't want to be made a fool of, so they're not releasing nothing until they have a certain amount of confidence to release. And so what I'm saying is our track record, 25 years in the game, has shown, if nothing else, that we're not going anywhere. So we have staying power, and that should help establish consideration to release the $1. That's what number three is. Number four, confidence to request the $1 a month. It's not that easy, you guys. You walking up to strangers, you calling the strangers, and you asking to donate $1 to something they don't know about. They haven't been told by the European media that this is a valid structure. So that's hard. And so number four, confidence to request that $1. It takes work. So let me reassure those people with that. The 48 quarters, that's 4 quarters a month. And when you look at the big picture, what we do, we spend no matter what, at least $1,100, $1,200 every month. That's bare minimum. So if nothing else, your $12 is helping to offset those guaranteed costs every single month. So number five is production. Once I give it, what's happening next? And in the past, we wanted people to feel good about doing it and that we were going to take care of the rest. Realistically, we need people to not just do the 12, but to tell others, because that word of mouth is going to allow us to meet your cousin who's a nurse so that they can tell more nurses. So as you can see right here, if we meet your cousin that's a nurse, that's the 96th floor right here for all the nurses. If we meet your uncle who's a police, that's the 89th floor right here for all police. My point is, we are the global relationship management structure. It's all tied to neighborhoods, blocks, countries in Africa, and that's what you're looking at here with this tower. Okay? If you got any questions, just type it in so I can respond to it. So now I want to move to what victory looks like and why you don't want to do what we do. Why you shouldn't want to do what we do, because this is a lot of work, a lot of work. Okay, every day. This is what our new contact list looks like. So skip the month because this is March of this year. But look at this. This is important. The zip code is everything. So when I flip through this, it's going to change. This is what's going to change. The month stays the same. If we don't meet no person in 60612 in the month of March, this stays blank. Now, what does that say? The shooting and killing happening in this zip code and we don't meet not one person. Pretty, that's pretty damning. Not one person want to do anything positive with us. That's pretty damning. So we should always have names in here, and that's indictment on everyone. Why we didn't get one person in March, because this zip code 12 is linked to Boston and Ghana. If we meet anyone in Boston and Ghana, it goes in this section. You follow me? Okay. Third, this zip code is responsible for science, medical science, neuroscience, science fairs, biology. If we meet any person anywhere, excuse me, that's into science, they go right here. So that's just 60612's agenda, you guys. That's just 60612's agenda for local, national, and international, and the professions. That's one zip code. So I'm gonna go through quicker. This 60623. That's North London. Same thing. We didn't meet no one, but it's linked to LA. If we'd met anyone in Los Angeles or Senegal, we would have put that there. And then what are they responsible for profession wise? All kindergartners, North Chicago, all landlords, all Navy personnel, all actors, all musicians, all athletes, dancers, and singers. So this zip code 60623 bears a lot of responsibility for all of local, North Lawndale, LA, Senegal in Africa, and all of them professions I just named. Think about the shooting on 15th and Sawyer, the 14-year-old and 17-year-old. What did they have to do? Were the neighborhoods organized? Did the neighbors know what the goal is, what the strategy is? Are some of the guys out there that's out of school not doing anything? Can they benefit from a change of scenery to Los Angeles? This is what 2-3 is responsible for. It's a big deal. So moving right along, 60624. I'm gonna go faster here, so I don't take up too much time. 24 is linked. No one we met is linked to Atlanta, Sierra Leone. It's linked to all Marines, Army, Coast Guard, firefighters, police, day spa, karate. Anyone we meet anywhere in Chicago, their name goes right here. And so I'm gonna go through real quick the rest of them so you guys can see. This is another zip code. This is zip code 606 on 09. This zip code is linked to Detroit, Michigan, and Aurora. So as you can see here, you guys, it is a lot. It is a lot. And every one of these zip codes, New York City, linked to 60621, it has engineers, computer repair, 11 graders. That's today. So as you can see, I don't know of another structure and system in our society organized like this in position right now. So when I say $1 is the solution, if you don't see this, you wouldn't be able to see why that would matter. But imagine all of these areas, DC, as you saw, you saw Boston on there, you saw Birmingham, you saw Atlanta. Just think when $1 is coming in from all of these places. That adds up big time. While most people think stopping this violence is something physical, something you got to do per se, it's not so much what you got to do, it's more of what you have to value, because your values would dictate behavior. And unfortunately, a lot of times we go running into more police, more jobs. What we really dealing with is us as a people not looking in the mirror, not being in agreement to pool our own resources together. And it's frustrating to them. And they act out in bad ways because of that. So that's to me what we dealing with. Let me go to the blue, then I'm gonna get off of this. So the blue region is over east. So as you can see right here, we have 606 19. That's Chatham. They're linked to Philadelphia, Angola, in Africa, and they're responsible for all fifth graders, missing persons, detectives. So Chatham is doing that for all of Chicago, keeping us coordinated and unified from a missing person standpoint, a detective standpoint, and that's a good thing. And it makes sense for us to support that. So anyway, that's it. All of those, right? Now let's talk about another issue. Let me get rid of that. What this is right here: 40 million Americans targeted. These are Black Americans that we're targeting. This is what I want you to look at. What is the national plan for Blacks in the North and Blacks in the South to work together? What is the national plan? What is the agenda? Well, when you look at this in detail, I want you to see what we're talking about. So, here, first and foremost, let's look at every person we meet. Our intake center is out of Bucksport, South Carolina. Bucksport, South Carolina. They don't know it yet. They don't know it yet. But we have 20 cities around the country with leaders at varying levels in each of these cities. Our goal is to create interdependency where we need each other versus doing my own thing, which is what DMON is, doing my own thing. So we are fighting DMON, and we're trying to build us agreeing to work together. So South Carolina, 96% Black, 876 people in the whole town. Here we come saying we're about to hire and build something so that the 876 people here are going to have jobs. Why? Because we're collecting money and we're using that money to strengthen neighborhoods, to make neighborhoods safer. And so Bucksport will handle all 40 million new people coming in. All right. Underneath that, you got Mound Bayou, Mississippi, 1,400 people, 98% Black as well. There, every person we meet here, we're gonna ask Mount Bayou to make sure that they know their twice a year time to work with us. Only twice a year. Only twice a year we asking them because we know how busy people are. But look what jobs they create for Mount Bayou. 40 million people, we're gonna have 7 offices open to accommodate this. Falcon, Mississippi, 99% Black. They blacker than these two. There's only 150 people though in the whole town. So just imagine what your sorority, fraternity, bike club can do for a town that's small. It's tremendous. And so what we're saying though is releasing that $1 a month, $12 a year puts us in a position to really make this come to life and fruition. So they handle all our donations, our $1,000 loaners, $500 loaners, $250 loaners, the $100 loaners, the $48 loaners. They handle all the $1 donations, 20 and up, 50 and up. So that's Falcon, Mississippi's job. All right, you look down, 4 charities. Why does this matter? We as a people, we allow things to cause us to think we're competing with each other, when in fact we're not. As long as people got their neck on our throat, we're not competing at all. Excuse me. So we're not competing at all as long as we have oppressors benefiting off of us. But for charities, the way we want to see us not fight against each other is by asking Coahoma, Mississippi to coordinate all 7 regions we have, 21 cities, 20 cities plus Chicago. And we're asking them to help us make sure we talk to our people about what 4 charities do they normally donate to and when. What this is going to give us is going to allow us to compile who else in Chicago does the same thing or similar thing to the same charities. So we can try to coordinate, negotiate a bigger bang for your buck when it comes to helping those 4 charities. It also will allow us to go to them 4 charities and make sure they know about what we're doing, so it can grow us as well. So I see that as a win-win. Name your 4. Metcalf, Mississippi. Why Mississippi? Why so much Mississippi? Because Mississippi is the most affordable state in the union. It's the poorest state in the union, highest obesity. These are problems, tied directly to us as a people. So what will it mean for us to stabilize a state that almost 4 out of 10 people is black? No other state is close. What that can mean for us to do that. So that's why this is so important. Referrals coming out of Moses, Alabama, 97% black, 914 people. Their role is to meet you, meet your auntie, nephew, cousin, and keep growing what we're doing. Then you got Cofield, North Carolina. Okay. Now, the shopping cart represents when we meet a person, we want to go shopping to find out if they have children that's in school, Head Start through high school. If they are, we have brochures that'll tell them what grades are being supported by that profession. So, if you're a barber, for instance, barbers are asked to help 8th graders, beauticians, 4th graders. So, when people come to you asking for support, you can give them the national plan to obtaining support. Absolves you a little bit. All right. So anyway, we got birthdays coming out of White Halls, Alabama. That's 779 people in the whole town, 98% black. This town was given from the president for resettling slaves, and so we just stayed very, very, very strong in White Halls, Alabama. Then the last one is the youth intake. So if we identify some young people, then it is Ocala, Florida, responsible for helping make sure that they get resumes so that they'll know what the future looks like for them. So let me stop here. Let me stop. Take a peek with you guys at the camera here. See. Excuse me. Okay. So enough of this screen. Let me close this screen out. And I want to bring this one here up. This here is what I call what we do every day. And it's similar to a spindle that just keeps on spinning. So we have a business spindle that every third Wednesday of the month, our skincare professionals get together. Every first Wednesday, our photographers get together. So every Wednesday, some group of professions are getting together, and that's important. And the spindle just keeps reminding them of every 30 days when their moment is to plug in. So that's what the spindle does, and it keeps repeating, so we know it'll be around for a while. Okay, now let's get to this screen here. Let's get to this screen right here. I don't want to work. Let's move this out the way, see if it works then. While that's doing this thing, let me go back to the violence list. I want you guys to stay with me here with this. All right. As you can see here, you're looking at shameful numbers. Who has been shot, killed, stabbed, and raped, and it's just beyond comprehensible. Like, you're changing people's lives forever. So let's get to what we go do and what needs to happen. That's just what is happening. All right. So this here, every person we meet, there's 9 pieces of information that if we can get that out of them, we're going to be in better position to make life better for them. Let me say that again. There's 9 different pieces of paper we want to get filled out on each person. If we're successful, that means those 9 people essentially will be elevated, and then another 9 will come in under them, and we just keep this going until God calls us home. Because the real remedy is us agreeing to have reasons to interact with each other, RTI, and that's what this allows us to do. One second. Okay, so while that's working or trying to work, let me get into this last document here that I want everyone to see. So what this is our agenda for the entire year for one profession. Can you guys see that? You might not even be able to see that. Give me 1 second. I don't know what happened here. All right. Looks like the Zoom is ending.